Hi, everyone. I am so excited to let you know it's finally here. Book 2 in the What the Fuck Just Happened series is ready for pre-order on Amazon, and it will be officially live August 15th and then available everywhere. And yes, I can now say that WTF Just Happened is actually a series. That's also super exciting and kind of surreal. This book is titled WTF Just Happened. A sciencey skeptic investigates even more evidence of an afterlife and fights for justice with her dead dog. And it's available to pre order on Amazon. I'll put a link out in the show notes, on Instagram highlights, and on my website, wtfjusthappened.net. This book picks up where my first book, WTF Just Happened, A Sciencey Skeptic Explores Grief, Healing, and Evidence of an Afterlife, left off. If you had told me when I first began this exploration after my dad passed in 2015 that there would be enough substantial evidence of an afterlife that I could write 2 books on it, I would have never believed it. As most of you know, I thought an afterlife was as realistic as the Tooth Fairy, but here we are. In this book, I've now become friends with many of the mediums, so I'm able to give an even more behind-the-scenes view. I do some experiments with one of these scientifically tested mediums, Joe Peretta. In fact, he was the first guest on this podcast. And in these experiments, piles of complete what the fuckery happen. But again, there are also some much more questionable things, such as a clearly fraudulent reading with a medium that, looking back, was laughable. Although at the time, it was pretty shattering. I also examine other types of batshit phenomena, such as remote viewing and out-of-body experiences. And I even get to finally meet some of the people who I had dreamed of meeting when I first delved into this research. Yes, I am as awkward as you would expect when I meet them. Also, in an incredibly bizarre, different kind of what the fuck, my dog Peanut, who is now unfortunately on the other side, comes in to help fight for justice. If you were left wondering about what's happened since the end of my first book, WTF Just Happened, A Sciencey Skeptic Explores Grief, Healing, and Evidence of an Afterlife, you will be able to read all about what's happened. Heads up, at this point, you can only pre-order the ebook. So if you prefer print or ordering the book somewhere other than Amazon, you will have to wait until August 15th. And if you haven't read my first book, you will be a little lost. But that's now available everywhere in both ebook and print. And the audiobook is about to go live for this first book. So if you're like me and prefer to listen to books, you'll be able to. I'll give an announcement when that one's ready, which should be about, I guess, a couple more weeks. While it's still going to be a while for the full audiobook for book number 2, here is a clip. In this clip, the voice of Fran is read by Mary Elkers, and I read the rest. Please enjoy this excerpt and teaser from Book 2, WTF Just Happened. A sciencey skeptic investigates even more evidence of an afterlife and fights for justice with her dead dog. That evening, after dinner, I walked out of the banquet hall and joined a line of people who were waiting to walk the labyrinth. At all our Florida retreats, we transform one of the conference rooms into a labyrinth. This involves unfolding a massive cloth labyrinth. Following the spiral-shaped path puts your brainwaves into a meditative state. Only a few people are allowed in at a time. The lights are dimmed, relaxing music plays, and everyone holds electric votive candles with flame bulbs because fire is not allowed in the hotel. Melissa shakes wind chimes as each person enters the labyrinth, slowly walking, in their own world, processing the intensity of the weekend, and maybe connecting with their loved ones. I always go once the room is empty, so I can record videos to post on our social media. I stood quietly by Fran as the guests came into the room, a few at a time, and lost themselves in their own world. Or, more likely, a world with their loved ones. When the room was empty, aside from me and Fran, I stepped into the labyrinth. Despite having my phone on, recording the pattern of the walk, I slipped into a meditative state, just as I did every other time I had walked through the labyrinth. I tried to connect with my dad. They say when the brain is in a meditative state is when it's easiest for the discarnate consciousness of our loved ones to communicate with us. I gave my dad the usual assignment that he still hasn't accomplished. Me, Dad, tell me something Mom knows and I don't, that I can verify with her. As I began to walk, I started to feel my dad. I smelled him and saw him in my mind's eye with his huge, warm smile. I felt that sense of vibrancy and safety I often felt around him, but I can conjure that up anytime. That is not evidence that my dad is actually still conscious and communicating with me. Me, Dad, come on. Then I stopped seeing, imagining him, and suddenly my little crazy dog, Peanut, who was a pug chihuahua, also known as a chug, popped into my mind. As soon as I saw her little eager face with her wide eyes and tongue sticking out, she began running in circles around my feet, getting the zoomies all around the labyrinth. Then I saw her run back to me, eagerly dancing around and looking at me expectantly, the way she always would when she wanted treats, approval, head scratches, and being asked her, and probably most dogs' favorite question, "Who's a good girl?" I didn't see her as if she was alive, but I very clearly imagined her in a way that I couldn't control, as if she had pushed herself into my mind and I had no choice but to have the visions I was having. I also felt deeply connected to her and felt that light, giggly silliness combined with that overwhelming feeling that is best described as just not even being able to handle how cute she is, that I always used to feel with her. This experience of Peanut stayed with me until I circled back to the exit of the labyrinth. And then there I was, back in the conference room. The feeling and images of Peanut were gone. Me, Fran, oh my God, it was so cute. I kept picturing little Peanut running around me the whole time. I couldn't stop laughing. Fran had always loved Peanut, even if she hadn't met her in person. or in dog, I should say. She always asked how she was doing, wanted to see photos, and wanted Peanut to say hi on Zoom, or I guess pre-2020 on Skype. Fran.
Wait, did you just say Peanut?
Me. Yes, why? Fran.
Holy shit, I kept seeing Peanut with you. I thought as you started, oh, of course, Liz will connect with her dad. But I looked and there was Peanut.
Me. Are you kidding? No way. Fran was not even a medium, and she saw Peanut? But while Fran was not a medium, she'd always known things. She once knew that she and Bob were going to win a car in a raffle. And, tragically, the day Bailey passed, she woke Bob up at 4 a.m, in terror, gray, and shaking, stating something terrible is going to happen today. Which not only makes one question the possibility of everyone having psychic abilities, but also question the nature of time, if we can know the future, and to what extent we can alter the future, or if certain things are just written. We stared at each other in amazement. My mind began to race. Me. But, Fran, what do you think? Do you think Peanut was really here? Which is great evidence for the survival hypothesis. Or were you reading my mind? Fran started laughing. Fran.
You and these fucking questions. Can't you ever take the evidence or the experience?
You've been listening to an excerpt from Book 2, WTF Just Happened. A sciencey skeptic investigates even more evidence of an afterlife and fights for justice with her dead dog. You can pre-order it now on Amazon, and on August 15th, you will be able to get it anywhere and be able to read the whole story. So thanks for your support and for being open-minded enough to listen to this absolutely batshit story.